Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Mary, Daisy, and Malcolm, and we are here once again at Halifax Library to teach you how to make Fanti Fanti, which is authentic Ghanaian fish stew, and as well as Sashwe. It's also authentic Ghanaian fish soup, which it looks similar to seafood chowder, but we don't add milk to it. So we are going to teach you how to make it, and it's really spicy. Seafood chowder mix. We have it here. We have carrots. We have rice. We also have what we call banku. We normally eat it with the sauce, the fish stew and the fish soup I'm going to make. But also you can have it with rice, because here normally the condo you can't have it here, so you can choose to have it with rice. The stew we have here halibut, and I am using halibut because when Fantis say Fanti Fanti, we use the most best catch of a fisherman, the most expensive fish. That is what we use it for Fanti Fanti. Here we have tomato puree that I puree myself. I have dicey tomatoes. I have pepper, onions, ginger blend together here, and I have habaneros in it. It's really spicy. I have here red oil, which I'm going to use it for the stew. I also have here potatoes. When I make it here, I normally put in dicey potatoes or something to make it like a pot meal. You can have the soup and at the same time eating the potatoes, and it's like a meal, right? Or you can have it with the banku. If you don't have the banku, we have what I call it cassava couscous. Is gari. You mix it with hot water, and some African countries call it gari fufu. Others also call it eba. You can have it with it. Okay, so here we are going to start with our rice, because we want our rice to slow cook. We're putting some water in the pot. And then we are going to wash our rice. So I am adding my rice to the water right away. Some people cook their rice, they want the water to boil before they add the rice, but whichever ways, it all works. So I am going to add my rice right away. Give it a stir, and then leave it to boil, and then leave it to simmer. Okay. So here we are going to start our soup. We add a little bit water to the pot. There is nothing in it, no oil. And here we have ginger, tomatoes, onions. I'm going to blend, and pepper. This type of meal normally it's really spicy because of the fish. It's really spicy. So I'm going to blend all of them together. So I add my ginger, garlic, onion puree in there and leave it to boil. I'm adding some water to it. Some people will do it by putting the fish in first and then pour this over. But the kind of fish I am using, it's really soft. So I want to cook down this a little bit before I will add the fish to it. And then, like I said, here when I make it, I put in dicey potatoes to make it like a complete meal. If I don't have the banku, or I don't have the rice, or if you are introducing it new to someone, when you make it this way, it kind of help the person pick it up quickly. So I have here some potatoes, so I'm going to dice it up. When my dad was alive and sometimes prepared the soup, he would normally put, instead of like me putting potatoes in it, he will normally put dumplings that is made by cornmeal. He will make it like a dumplings and then drop them in the soup. So when the soup is done, whilst you are enjoying your soup, you are at the same time enjoying the dumplings in it, and it makes a whole meal for you. We will add the potatoes because the potatoes are really hard, so we add it so it cooks together. Because fish doesn't take much time in cooking. We add salt to it. Perfect. Now we are leaving it to boil, and then for some time, and then we put in our fish and leave it to simmer, take its time to cook. So that we can really enjoy the flavors in it when we are eating it. So whilst we are waiting for that to get ready, we will start with our fish stew, which is the Fanti Fanti, and it's really popular in the coastal area of Ghana. That is where we eat more of the Fanti Fanti, but like I said, we have so many languages down there, so everybody calls it different, but I am Fanti, so we call it Fanti Fanti. So with the Fanti Fanti, we are going to start it by pouring in our oil, and we normally use red oil, which is the palm oil. I have used it here before, but when you are making it, you can use any choice of oil you want. You can use olive oil, like any type of oil you want, but authentically we use red oil. That is the palm oil. I have here onions, and with the onions you can cut it the way you want, any style you want you can cut it. I have it here. You can chop it whichever way you want. So now our soup is boiling. I'm going to add in our fish. You can use any type of fish, like even you can make that soup with this type of fish, any kind of your fish. But I am using like seafood chowder mix, which you can also use that too. So look at that. It has everything in it. I even add some squirrel in it, and it's So now we leave it to boil back again, and then leave it to simmer till everything is ready to go. Okay. Now that our onion has sweat a little bit, we add in our dicey tomatoes. Because of texture, I add like dicey tomatoes to it, but you can choose to puree all of your tomatoes. So here I have my garlic, tomatoes, peppers. It's really, this stuff I'm holding here, it's really spicy. I'm going to add it to it. Some people will add this right after the onions before they add the tomatoes, but like I said, it's up to you the way you want it. Okay, so I am going to add mine to it. And this type of soup, it's really good for this weather. It's really, really good. It has the spice and, you know, it cleans your immune system. Like, it's really good. I'm going to add the puree to it. And when you make it a stew like this, that is when you can eat it with rice. You can eat it with your boiled potatoes. What else? Like your banku and your eba, you can still eat it with it. Your gari fufu, you can still eat it with it. And this type of stew, we don't make it like big batches and eat and have the rest for like, or freeze it or whatever. We just make it fresh and enjoy it. Let's add some salt to it before we add our fish.
Now I can't touch anything. How often did you eat it as a kid?
As a kid?
Yeah.
Very often. Like maybe 4 times in a week, right? Because I'm from fishing community area, so our thing is fish. Exactly, exactly. Now we are going to add our fish and leave it to cook slowly. And back home, we normally make this with like barracuda, grouper, red snapper, like really expensive fish. And like I said, when I make it here, I add vegetables to it and stuff. So if you have green peas, you check some in there.
Carrots.
If you have carrots, you check some in there, like, you know, to make it a meal. But
Carrots.
if I am making it to eat it with the gari fufu or banku,
Or carrot.
which in my language we call it etzel. If that is what you are going to eat it with, then there is no need you add in your, like the potatoes, but still, to me, you can still add vegetables to it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. But if you go to Ghana right now and you ask someone to make you this, they are not going to add the vegetables. It's just, you know, it's something like quick something to eat, like grab and go something, you know. And it's normally made when the fishermen arrived and they just select best of the meat of the fish they have and then just give it to their wives or mothers and stuff, just to make this for them to eat. Yep.
I have another question. Back at home, did you used to make this with your mom a lot?
What's that?
Did you used to make this with your mom a lot?
Yeah, yeah.
That's why you're so experienced.
Yeah. I am always in the kitchen with my mom.
All sorts of stuff.
I am always in the kitchen with my mom.
You learn from us.
Yeah. So the way I make the soup, if you are someone that you don't eat like
bacon? Or is that bacon?
no. If you don't like you are a gluten-free person, it's good to go. Even when you drop in the cornmeal dumplings, you are still good to go, right? Still, if you are eating it with the banku, you are still to go. It's cornmeal. Cassava, you are good to go. You can also just eat it rice on the side. You are good to go. And then with the stew, which is the Fanti Fanti, you can eat it with rice, same as this. And even if you are making it at home and you feel like, oh my gosh, I am so tired, I don't want, when I finish, I have to make the cornmeal or make the rice, whatever. Cut your potatoes into it. When everything cooks together, you just have your fish and the potato at the same time. It's a pot meal, right? You are good to go. So I am going to make the gari fufu with hot water. Remember last time I was here with it, I said you can make a salad out of this. You can also make it like a doughy, and then you eat it with any of this. So it will look like when we make the rice balls. When we make the rice balls some time ago with the peanuts, it will look just like that. So we are going to make the gari fufu or eba. So I have here my boiled water, and I'm going to add it with the gari. When you are making it, you can choose to add salt to it, but I don't add salt to mine because everything that I'm going to eat with has salt in it already. So I just keep it like that. And this, the gari, it's already cooked. It's already cooked, so you don't have to cook it on the stove. You just add hot water to it and it's ready to go. So the way they make this gari is they they peel cassava, rinse it, grate it, and then squeeze the starch out of it, some of the starch out of it, and then we tie it so hard in like cheesecloth, but like big bats. We tie it so hard, and then we put heavy stuff on it to take the juice out of it, and we leave it to ferment a bit, not too much. And then we just fry it in a pan, no oil. You just flake it and then put it in a pan, dry pan, and then just stir till it's dry. So it's already cooked. So when it comes out already, that is how it looks like, the couscous. So it's cooked already. You don't have to cook it again before you eat. Okay, so everything is good to go. We'll try the soup first. And with the spiciness, you can adjust it to your taste when you are making it. Like, it's not necessarily if you don't eat pepper, you have to add pepper. But if you go to Ghana and someone invites you to have this type of soup, expect it's going to be hot. Okay. So the soup is all done. And you guys will realize when I am cooking this, I didn't add like different types of spices and stuff. No, we just want to have a taste of the fish. So just your ginger, garlic and onion is just enough. Thank you so much for watching me at Halifax Public Library. For me to teach you how to make my delicious fish stew and then fish stew, which is called Fanti Fanti and Sashwe. And thank you for having us. Bye.
Bye.
Awesome.